Hello and good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for coming to Exploratorium Berlin. My name is Matthias Maschat, and I was glad to be able to set up tonight's event, which is happening in our sound and lecture series, and it's called Invisible Body Performance. And as guests for this occasion, we have the dancer and choreographer Maria Colusi and the composer, percussionist, and instrument builder Edgardo Rudnitzky, both from Argentina originally, and they are both living in Berlin, I think, since about 20 years already. When I got this proposal, the concept immediately interested me, and also I knew Maria already from another project. It has also been happening at Exploratorium, still in the old venue. Also sound and lecture, it was called Aspect Seeing. And I can very well remember that she had really impressed me as an artist with her dance and with her artistic personality. So I was happy to hear from her again. And then we met about 1 year ago here at Exploratorium at the new venue. It was still a construction site at the time, but we said hopefully this is going to be the right place to do this invisible body performance. And yeah, now I'm happy that it's taking place. When you think about dance, of course, first of all, the visual aspect is central here. But what if you take away this visual aspect? Can you hear the movement without seeing it? How can you experience dance with the ear only? And what is different for the dancer when she first and foremost becomes a musician? Maria and Edgardo are both highly acclaimed artists. Maria Colusi has worked with Sascha Waltz and Guest Company, for example, with Ballet Contemporaneo, Teatro Graal, and with Tango Chineses. She danced at countless venues and has taught courses at universities. And Edgardo has intensively worked as a composer and sound designer for theater productions, contemporary dance and film. And he has also performed at many prestigious venues. We will start with the performance, of course, and afterwards the idea is to talk, of course, with the artists a little bit, but we would also like to invite you to share your experiences, how it was for you to hear dance only without seeing it. Very important, please switch off your mobile phones. Who has already switched off the mobile phone? That's quite a lot. And who has not yet switched off the mobile phone? I cannot see you anyway because of the lights, but you know, it's important. The project has been made possible by the Beauftragte der Bundesregierung für Kultur und Medien im Programm Neustadt Kultur, Hilfsprogramm Distanzen des Dachverband Tanz Deutschland. Does everybody hear something in the headphones right now? It doesn't have to. So if you hear something, that's totally enough. But when you say the microphone is not operating, you say something already, because it's very sensitive mics. Don't be afraid when you hear yourself with tiny movements later. It will be pretty dark. If you want it even darker, you also have the masks. But since it's dark, I just want to point out the emergency exit is that way, and there's still a little bit. You can still see the sign over there. Okay, I think for the moment that's it from my side. Please enjoy Invisible Body Performance with Maria Colusi and Edgardo Rudnitzky. All right, let's continue. Welcome back to the artist talk with Maria I have no sound. That's a good start. And now? Jetzt ist besser? Macht das einen Unterschied? Okay, dann nehme ich dieses. So welcome back to the artist talk with Maria Colusi and Edgardo Rudnitzky. So thank you very much, first of all, for this very special, beautiful experience that you have been offering to us. We are doing a live stream at the moment, and I was wondering if we should at all do a live stream. It's just our habit here at Exploratorium that we have started to document everything. And in the beginning I thought, well, in the darkness, does it really make sense with this particular experience to do a live stream? But then I was talking to Maria and Edgardo told me that the original idea was the question if it is possible to broadcast dance in the radio. So I thought, okay, why not just do a live stream with it? Maybe you can start with telling us something about the initial idea, how you came up with the project, and what has been fascinating for you.
Okay. First of all, good evening. We want to thank Exploratorium Berlin for hosting us in this beautiful new home. Matthias was very receptive to our project when we talk, and we are very happy to be here. It's a pleasure to work here, and it's good to say in public. No, no, you cannot listen to this, but it's okay. And thank you, all of you, of course, for do this thing with us. I will try to be short because the idea have around 50 years, more or less. Know this idea, but my fascination for some things about the sound and concerning the materiality of the sound. When I was around 12 or 13 years old, I don't remember exactly, my grandfather from my mother gave me my first cassette recorder. It was an Hitachi that has a microphone and was, you can transport it. It was not a Walkman, of course, but it was a small thing. And that was the beginning of a journey for me. I started to discover something fascinating, and then, well, some things happen. I know some people that know a lot about this, and I start with this. But since that moment, I guess, it was a kind of fascination for the presence of sound, because the sound is always present. It's present also when we don't want. We cannot close our ear. No, there are not eyelids for the ears. It's not my phrase, it's for another one, but I like it. And this is really fascinating for me. And then I go further. In the 80s, I start to work with dancers, with choreographers and dancers in Argentina, where I born, and Maria also. And I work a lot, really, with the dance because I desired it and because I was lucky. I had luck and I could work as a composer and performer with several groups of dance, contemporary dance in Argentina. And in a moment I was start to be very uncomfortable because the dancers and the choreographers want to exclude the noise of the bodies on stage. You have to jump, but I have not to listen. It's impossible. What is your weight? I don't know, 45, 50 kilos, and the 50 kilos goes on the floor. Oh, this is a problem, to be really quiet, silent. And you cannot breathe. You know, if you breathe, the people has not to feel it. No, you have to. So it's strange. No, you want some dead bodies that do something very complicated. So that was, and I started to propose things, and no, it was no, I didn't win in that moment. Because I want to do my story, but no, the choreographers want to do another story. So, okay, so it continue with the time. I start to have a little bit more power. That is good. But yes, for these things is fantastic. You know, when you have something, you can say, well, Edgardo said that. Oh, perhaps we have think about this, but nothing happened until in the 90s, something like this. I invited Hans-Peter Kuhn, who is a sound artist, composer from Berlin. Thanks to the Goethe Institute in Argentina, I could invite him to come there to go to Buenos Aires. I had an idea to do a project. The name in Spanish, in Espanol, was Los Restos del Bailongo. That is the kind of what remained after a place where the people dance tango. So we built a kind of destroyed pieces of floor, that it was all the floor of the tango places were explode, and we're recording some tango dancers in the stage that we can go under the stage with the microphones, and we do an installation. So we're recording all these people dancing, and then we do several installations, some Hans-Peter, some me, with this floor, installing loudspeakers or sound systems in this floor that exploded, and we install it all around the city of Buenos Aires in different places, bars, museums, bailongos, etc. And this was one part of this beginning. And then, Maria and I worked together for, I don't know, 25 years now, more or less. I guess we did our first piece together in 25 years ago. We know each other for a little bit more also. And in this work, it was very easy. When you have a partner that you trust and believe in you also, we start to develop a system to working with sound and dance. We start to develop something that we don't know what is this, but we are working on it, very concentrated on it. And then came COVID. And COVID was the final trigger for this. Because in that moment, it was very complicated to show. All the performances are strange. I didn't like this, what had happened with YouTube and that everyone is dancing in YouTube, in TikTok, was too much for me in one moment. And I start to think about why not broadcast dance in the radio. And that was the final point. In a moment, it was a kind of possibility to do it in Uruguay, so transmitting from Germany, from Berlin, Maria dancing to radio in Uruguay. Then, because the COVID, everything goes down, also with the radio. But we start to work on it. And then when we had some support from the Académie de Kunst, and that was the final shot for this idea. But mainly this is the trajectory of this, and everything is related to kind of put a magnifying glass, if we can talk about this, like a magnifying glass, sound magnifying glass, in the body of the dancer. Because the dancers are really hard workers and do a lot of stuff. And there are a lot of, I will use a word that I don't like in this case, but they do a kind of music, but the music is not the right word. I take care with my words because it's not right. But to understand each other they do music. They do a kind of music all the time with their body. And to finish, and I will not speak anymore in the night, is I guess we both were very interested in the body of the dancer, and not using the body of the dancer only as a trigger. We are not trying to do an electronic piece where the body of the dancer is finally only a kind of operator. What it was for me always fascinating was the sounds produced by the body of the dancer, not what I can do with the energy of the body of the dancer. For produce sounds, you always need some energy, but in this case, the energy and the sound is inscripted in the body of the dancer. Then I can use it for triggering something. You listen to what happened today, and there was some triggering and some things, because it was part of the thing for us. But the main thing is this.
Maria, I guess you share the experience that the body has to be as silent as possible in dance, what Edgardo has said before. And now it's possible to express yourself also in a sounding way. We've been talking about this yesterday also. So most of the time there's music and there's dance to the music. But in this case, the role of you is totally changed. Can you maybe talk about this change, what it does to you and what it does to your way of dancing? That you suddenly become a musician as well.
Yes, exactly. I connect more with this idea, like in the body is a prolongation of the sound, or also the body is a prolongation of the voice. And it's interesting because, especially as a choreographer, when you realize things, you make it visible. And you are kind of busy with how does it look, or how I appear in space, or how are my shapes in space. And when I start to work in this project, suddenly I realize it's not about that. It's not about making a line or making a turn, or is about somehow almost making the body like tracing the space, and everything you do, people can feel it by hear it. So, and I felt it like it was a bit more like inner connection, almost like you can unfold the body by hear it. When we dance, we have the tendency to kind of unfold to the outside. But this, as my experience in this project, that I should make an unfold inside to be able to listen what I was doing. And this was a kind of an interesting experience. Because I also realized the body becomes much more sensitive and much more available to hear. And actually, we do, as a dancer, you do listen your body, but this listening is kind of another type of awareness, much more refined, I find it. And yes, you somehow you become almost like a musician with your own body, and this is wow, it's super fun. I must say, also being with Edgardo, and of course I do have a lot of connection with music also in my education. So I was training as a ballet dancer in the beginning, also as a contemporary dancer later, and I do have a strong training about listening to music, but not actually making the music. Yeah, I could make choreography, but making music is also another. It was a challenge for me to understand the tensions, to understand the tempo, the qualities, the densities. Yeah, it was a great experience. Also, I think I was also reflecting if I can bring this awareness when I'm singing, when I'm teaching people, dancing, if I can transmit this awareness. So I was a bit busy also with that in this time. Yeah.
For me, anyway, there's a strong connection to improvisation in music also, because there it's the case that the body itself also has a very important role. So it's not only about playing something as you have learned it before, like interpreting a composition, but in improvisation, the body has another dimension. It is an actor in itself. So and there I see a strong connection to improvisation in music also, because also the musician kind of becomes a dancer by doing certain movements and creating sounds by these movements. So yeah, there's a strong connection. And another aspect is what is changed here is the aspect of dancing in the dark. So usually you see the space, you can perceive everything by your eyes, and so of course you relate to the space, but now suddenly this aspect is gone. You don't see yourself, you don't see the space. What does it do to your movements?
I must say not not to my movements. I must say to my perception of my body. This what it does different. Of course, I'm open eyes, and I see the space. I don't see anything. I mean, in this today I could see the light, but normally if I do it in a very dark place, I have my orientations in the floor, so I have a kind of fluorescent papers that they are set in the floor in the front and in the back. So when I'm turning or I'm looking back, I know where I am, because otherwise I cannot relate into space. I don't have any chance to do it. So yes, I help myself making that in the floor to be able to orientate myself. Yes, this is the way I'm dealing with the darkness in a way.
And there's still another moment of interaction, I would say, because you are also using samples and certain effects. And for me, it was like that they created spaces also. So my impression was they had a certain function also, because it was not only the movement here at Exploratorium, I think, but it mixes from to other spaces suddenly. Yes, so
I truly believe that we perceive the space by our ears, not by our eyes. I really truly believe that. You cannot, the difference is clear, because I'm looking to you and I have not the perception with my eyes of this space. I cannot see back in this moment, perhaps if I train, but not now. So this is the point on this. We understand we go inside the church, a big church, and we do on the floor, we go in, and we know that we are in a kind of space with this characteristic. Could be the church, could be a big hall of I don't know what, but a factory, but it's not a small room. It's not this room. This is another room. And the floor sounds different, and the reverberation is different, and etc. And I guess this is very important. We have a very, very old sound experience. All of us, we're born with an old experience also. And we have not notion of that. So we have a lot of information of the sound, and we don't pay attention, because this idea that we cannot close our ears all the day, we are listening and listening and listening and listening. We can sublime, but this is a psychological work. But really, we are listening. We cannot avoid that. Sometimes it's good. Now when I'm talking, you want to go, but you can stay there. And you have to listen to me also if you don't want. You cannot pay attention, you cannot want to understand, but anyhow, you will listen to me. My voice is here, it's boring you, and it's there. And this is what happened with the thing. And this idea of the spaces in one way has to be with that. Was part of the work. We start working, was for me also was a very strange experience, because yes, I like and I usually to listen, but in this case was different. First, because I had not the control, any control, because I have not lines with her. We can discuss later, but in the very beginning, when she's doing, and we have some I don't know, some pacts that we do, but in the moment she can decide that this is better than this, or she prefers that, or she cannot do that. And so we start to develop and to discover a lot of information and a lot of possibilities in this exchange. And that was these ideas were appearing, not this idea of the other spaces, of the other elements of that she can relate it with, because also when appear this kind of murmurs or the voices, etc., are related to her proposal. That her proposal 2 years ago, but it's related to her proposal. This appeared to the idea to, well, okay, now we are in another space, but at the same time, it's not a narrative of nothing, because there was the idea to make a narrative of this. Not a narrative in the way of the literature narrative. It is a sound narrative. And yes, in that we were very strict with that. The idea of make a really strong narrative, sound narrative, to have a sound dramaturgy, but not a theatrical dramaturgy.
Okay, let's start with the first question. Claudia.
Yeah, I have directly a question, because I was interested in, first, thank you for this experience, because I love to be here, and it was really nice. And but my question is going directly to you, because how improvised was it what you played on top of Maria's Klang? I found the German word, for those who know better than sound, it's more precise, I would say, in that way. So it was very interesting would be very interesting to hear something about it, how Maria influenced maybe the sound, and if it was a narrative you decide, like a composing, or if it was all the time influenced by it, so you performed directly with her. So just to...
This is a secret. No.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
no.
Thank you very much. Actually, this was the question that I wanted to ask too, about the notion of improvisation and interaction between the two of you. So,
no, it's
well,
interesting.
a secret.
It's interesting for me too, because there are a lot of different styles, to say in that way, inside this work. For me, I'm talking about what you asked specifically, because there are some aspects, also the aspects that Maria can control are different styles, because there are not so complex, but complex sound system with different elements, and the different elements are not playing all the time any role. There are aspects that are passive. So that is the first point that I can decide in one way. Say, well, what are I taking? These aspects are basically, we can say 3 or 4. It's not a lot, but we say we have a, I don't know, he had not name. No, we need to put a name to him. But this is a binaural microphone, and this working in the very beginning of the piece is only alone, and it was always is the same. Normally we do this, and he allowed us to make some spatialization of this space on Maria on it. But at the same time, I want really to have you in the head of Maria, that you are in one way the dancer, each of you. So for that we use a tracker. Maria has a tracker in her headphone. Over the headphone has a tracker, and this tracker allowed me different things. For example, in the end, in this kind of music that appears in the end, all this music is mixed by Maria live with her movement. Her movement, the position of his head in this thing, and also up and down, is managing this mix. But at the same time, I can do whatever I want. Because I'm in the room. I'm in the other room alone, smoking. No, this is this is very good. So this allowed me to can manage another stuff. There are two more, not so much, but there is a matrix of kind of contact microphones, but we use as contact microphones as trigger for the samples and another stuff, and also to measure the distance where she is, because by I can measure the difference, in the position between two of them all the time on any of two of them. So this allowed me for the spatialization also. So I have all these possibilities, and really there are not two same performances. We did several rehearsals in the last week, one per day during 1 week really, and always is different, and different has to be with that she received something that didn't expect, or didn't receive something that she was waiting because normally I did it, or she is doing some stuff also with the voice, also with the body, because one day she started to clap herself, and we discovered something. I discovered something, and I take this to go to another space. So it's a kind of feedback. She's with headphones, I'm with the same headphones that you have. We have all of us, we have the same system. And that was, this is the way. It's very strange in one way for me, because the idea I cannot see her, I have to be very concentrated and listen what she's doing and where she is. This is very interesting, because I have to know where she is, because to open the triggers, I have to know that she's here or here or here or here. And the rehearsals are not in the darkness normally, are with light or with some light. So I see, and then no, not anymore. And this is a little bit complicated, but this is the system, I guess, in the work. I don't know if I answer you both, but another.
Yeah, thanks for the performance. Muchísimas gracias. Era un placer. I was wondering, in many ways, if you are working on sounds, you do have a visualization of the sound. So the lights are flickering, like stronger or less strong, and you have like several steps. So when you're sitting there over there in your room, all on your own, do you have like this visualization that you see, like, oh, now this sound is getting stronger and less strong, and
no, only by ear. You cannot see that in this way, because you know this. There are two different things. That is the volume. We normally say volume, and the loudness. And you can have a very high volume with less loudness on the other way also. So all the lights that I can see in one way for me are lying in this situation. So I have to think that you have the headphones, you, all of you. I mean, it's not you, it's all of you. So I have to take care of your ears in one way, because it was something that we discussed a lot. How to manage the idea that no one goes running out or feel that is aggressive. It's very complicated, because it depends on the age, depends on the experience. There are people that want to, and the other ones that not. And so I decided, or we agree in some medium thing, that it was okay, it's good for us, and we go with it. But it's this, and there are a problem. This performance has a lot of problems, but one of the problems is the ambient. discovered that you two do a lot of noise. No, but really, because when we are alone, of course there are some noises and things, but when there is people, also if you do nothing, all of you do nothing, this floor of sound that you say if you do it in the lights, that it was here. That I could see it. It was here and was here now. Also when everything was quiet, I mean, someone can move, but not wow. But the difference was huge. And this is a point also that I can see it, but I cannot resolve it with this. I can turn off all of you, but it's complicated.
Are there more questions or remarks? If it's okay for you.
Sure. It's very formal. Hi. Yeah, I have a question regarding spatialization of the sound, because now we experience the work in a specific device with specific space, which means have an orientation of left, right, and all the sound were pretty precisely locating in the space from my point of view as an observer. So the question is, in the moment, for example, the same work is broadcasted by radio, where me as a listener, I don't have any more like a limit of the space. How does this influence the spatialization of the sound? Can somehow the same sense of space be delivered in the radio? Does it change anything, or does it is related on the specific situation and so on?
Really
Thank you
not.
very much.
This is the binaural system that allowed you to put in stereo. You listen, yes. You put in the spatialization normally need
for the documentation also.
Oh, so. Hello. The spatialization has this situation that we can think in the cinema. This surround, or now there is more and more and more, but you are surrounded by loudspeakers, so you have left, right, the center, the voices, and you have the effects and blah, 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 blah. The binaural system, what did was that you, in headphones, and only in headphones, also if you listen to a recording of this in loudspeakers, normal loudspeaker, you will have a kind of stereo, but you will not have this situation that you have in the headphones now. But if you broadcast it, this is the same, exactly the same. I recorded a couple of discs, when was CDs in that moment, not of music, of pieces with with another artist, visual artist that we did together, and we did some recordings in binaural, and worked really perfect. There are no difference. Only if there are a problem in the radio transmission, that the stereo is a little bit contaminated, or that happens sometimes, will be not the same. But if you are in a good transmission, no problem.
Even as a perception, because my point is
exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's a problem sometimes with the view, with the eyes. If you are probably with open eyes at home, listen to this, and perhaps in a moment you cannot have, but if you close the eyes again, yes, you will return to this situation. It really works fine, and it's easy, I can say it. I promise.
Okay, I'll come around. There are two more questions.
Hello, I'm Thomas Lange. I'm founder of Resonance Practice, and it is a practice for musicians. And we do on a regular basis sound movement exercises. And we say that the body is the first instrument, even for a violinist or a trumpet player. And I found out that the more resonant the sound, the more balanced out the muscles. Yes, and so we do resonance of sound for having balanced out muscles. With balanced out muscles, you can differentiate sound and movement as you like. I just want to say that this is in the world. And I will make a dance performance in Exploratorium on 16th of June, but it's not a thing of the Exploratorium. I do it for myself, and if you like to come have a look, there you see a dance performance on the basis of 35 years sound movement practice. Just to mention. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for tonight. I found it very inspiring, and I don't know, I just have thoughts, and I thought sometimes we don't know what the artists will do with the piece afterwards. But like it opens a lot of doors in my head. First also to this fact of seeing and then not seeing. I think it made such a difference to be able to see the stage while coming in, and then to go into this darkness, because already the visual memory of the space personally helped me to relax in the fact that I can just sit here and be in my head and in my ears and in the sound experience. So maybe this touches also to like security in a space, also not seeing, maybe also like touches to blindness or people who are not seeing fully, which is also like I feel huge topics for venues right now in terms of like accessibility. How do you invite new publics, new audiences? Yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of thoughts, and also the sitting situation. I was wondering why we sit on chairs. First, I really thought maybe we would move in the space. I don't know why, but it was like a very open thing. A thing I had in my head. Yeah, and also this point of realizing that we also hear ourselves, like when we maybe move the chair. And what if the public was daring to participate? Like realizing, I can play there. I can maybe. So would you be open for that? Like, yeah, it's a lot of directions I throw in. I don't have a very specific question, but
personally, I guess I'm not so democratic for these kind of things. Yes, politically speaking, but not for these kind of things. But there is a but, of course, that is that was a performance, that was an improvisation performance, but it was a performance, and there are two things. The thing with the chairs and the position has to be that if you are walking and turn, you lose this perception of the space, that the intention is that the perception of the space is the perception of the space of Maria. So if you are looking there, you have not anymore the perception of the space of Maria. This is simple, but it was important for us, was an intention, was to a kind of this trans body, they make a thing related to this. And in the other way, the participation, in one moment, we both think that someone was singing on the room, and we are not sure. Or a man or a woman with a very low voice, but it was singing. And it was, I'm sure, absolutely sure, because it was in tune. So cannot be casual. No, it was not me.
There seem to be a few singers here.
I was wondering. I said someone is really singing now.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay.
And I knew that was in tune. It's because it was not casual, because it could be casual, someone there or there or there, but not was in tune. So he was playing with the thing. And it was okay. I mean, I can go out and try to kick in, but it makes no sense. We are in a very complicated moment of the stories to do these kind of things, but I guess that it's not a problem, and I guess it could be a good idea, but for that you have to have the intention. So you have to open different doors to the performer, and the audience can enjoy, can find a way to have a kind of thing that in this kind, that work in that way. When not, it's very complicated, and it's very, I imagine in this case, because I am in the room but she's here, could be very disgusting for her also.
I mean, well, the piece, it was not actually created to have this type of situations. I mean, I think it could be possible, but it might be in another type of frame. So you know what I mean? Like, I think it could be a good idea to do something like this.
Next time.
But in this case, actually, it was more, we wanted somehow to create also like it's not a landscape, but it is, you can really feel like there are chapters in the piece. And each chapter has different kind of colors and intentions, more related to sound, more with the voice, more than with microphones and or just the trace of the movements. So somehow the piece was created that you can have kind of this parkour. And not like, okay, let's come and inviting you to, this is another story. But yeah.
We have one remark here by one of the singers. No?
Well, there was hello. There was a moment where I couldn't hold back my voice, but very silently, just for a couple, for 10 seconds or something like that. But I didn't know if it's recorded or not, or where is it integrated in the headphones? Is there a microphone in there? Or
But we have to pay you now?
No. No, but first of all, thank you for the very interesting work you're doing, and present us here with the combination of dance movement and klang sound. Yeah, maybe I missed it, but I would need to know, or would like to know, if you, Maria, hear what he is doing. Do you have headphones on? Do you hear the same thing we hear?
I hear the same like you are hearing, exactly the same.
With how do you have headphones on? When
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Then that's clear. Okay.
So,
Because I couldn't see you, so I didn't know. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
You and me, we are hearing the same.
The same.
Yeah,
Okay. So
exactly.
then, your movement is as well following the sound, or in combination of his sounds. So it's like impulse. You give impulses, and he gives impulses back.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Or sometimes I'm also, for example, with the voices, with a sampler, I'm improvising in the recorded voices. So with my voice, I am improvising with a recorded voice. So it's kind of a conversation. So like a dialogue.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's really kind of a feedback system. Huh?
Exactly.
Hi.
Yes.
I can see this fine.
It was much more longer. Yes, it was.
I know it's not.
No.
It's there.
Because he did the voice when the voice, some of our voices, they were in. And he started, and then they overlapped, and then I went inside. So we had kind of an improvisation as well, together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bueno, hi. I have a little question for Maria.
Yeah.
Regarding this sensibility of the sound, because when I was there in the darkness, I imagine, I don't know, Maria running, jumping, turning, flying, many things. But I guess as the sound is so sensible, like sounds, so sensible. My question is if that sensibility kind of limited your movement.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
you improvise like a little bit with this sensibility of the sounds as well.
Yes, because actually maybe I do. If I do a very strong movement, I know I don't need that strong energy to produce, for example, this movement. If I would see my movement, I do very strong, but then I don't need to do very strong. I just do like this, and it's sounding like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a different type of kind of relationship. Like normally you know you are sending your body with a certain energy and you see what people can see. But here I don't need a lot of kind of strength. I need more to listen and not to kind of drive my body in an energetical level, let's say. I have to drive it in another way. And I do maybe much less than I suppose, or maybe I'm used to when I'm moving my body.
Okay, there's 2 more questions or remarks.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I think you just mentioned something that was going to be my question. How much you get influenced by your own sounds. That was one of the things that came to my mind. And the other was, I didn't know what to expect when I came. I was very curious. And I thought I'll just close my eyes and probably I'll feel the dance kinesthetically. And it didn't work like that. And I heard these thuds and bumps and I said, oh my God, she's falling, and what is happening with the body? I mean, it sounds, you used the word aggressive, that's where I jumped onto it. I said, this is aggressive. I mean, what is happening with the body that you're doing this? But now listening to you, I'm just thinking, okay, so it is the amplification of the sound then that came, because I was trying to imagine what movements you were doing, and I just felt like there was a thud and a fall and a pain and voice and, all kinds of images came to my mind. So what you're saying now is kind of brings another question for me. So you are being influenced by the sound that you're creating because you have headphones on your body,
Yes.
on yourself.
Yeah.
And so there is a kind of a music, let's say, or sound that's happening with your movement, which you're also responding to, I would imagine then, right?
Right.
And how do you feel then? I mean, I felt like that. I said, oh my God, is this the sound that the body creates when it's dancing? It's very intriguing.
Well, it's a little bit Zen, this thing, because I'm not I'm not getting attached on what I'm creating to you or with the feelings. I just producing them, but I'm not getting in the psychology of what the sound, the pain you mean, I'm not getting kind of wanted to you feel that. I'm just producing things with the body. And a little bit more in the abstract way, let's say. The elements that you can hear, we choose it together. But we didn't have kind of a dramaturgy of wanting to tell a story. We wanted to kind of give impulse that you can relate with your imagination, but not necessarily to tell you a story and that you have to feel this or that. Am I clear what I'm?
Yeah. I understand that there was no narrative from your part coming.
Yeah.
It's just that I was telling you about what was happening in my head.
Yes. And it's great. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, yeah. And this is, I think, this is the fun part of this, that each one of you actually have their own imagination, or can create their own story, or to relate to different things. And this is, I think, the imaginary that this work, by hearing things, hearing the body and the sounds, can open up kind of a new space, by the way.
Okay.
What you have something to say about
I
this?
have a microphone. No, no. Only I could tell you that this is the power of the sound. I'm a fanatic of the sound. We know that. But anyhow, this is the power of the sound. Our hearing works absolutely different to what we see. And if you remember, when you are a small kid, there are sounds that if you listen today, you will return to that place where you were when you were a kid. It's very simple. I remember when I was a kid, I live in, I suppose it was a first floor, and it was a window going to the street. And I recognized my father when he returned from the work by the sound of the keys when he took it out of his pocket before opened the main door of the building. And I was sure it was my father, and it was. I never did a mistake with this. And this happened to all of us. I tell you this story because it's easy for me, but I mean, and there are tragic stories about that also. There are people that have very, very sounds that put it in the situations very uncomfortable. But this is something very related to the nature of the sound. It's not something that related to the work or to you. It's the nature of the sound. The sound has a it's very powerful in the evocative system. The evocation produces. Someone say that is similar to smells, and it's possible. I have not this experience because I not smell so good. But it's true. It's true. I have not this, but works in another way. Our visual system, we work is a continuum in order, because I have to make this to see and etc. But when you're hearing, we have a superposition of layers that we cannot stop. So there is not in order, and it's not continuous. It's this superposition, and this is the difference. I guess because that happened. I'm not sure, of course.
No.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, you said that obviously you are becoming very concerned about the sounds you are creating with your body. Now, we musicians, instrument players, we also are movers, but our movements are functional to the production of the sound. Obviously, you are going towards this kind of movements, probably doing these kind of pieces. So if you were able to make a video of your performance, maybe once you did it in the full light or so, could you then see the difference in your movements? Could you recognize this difference between the movements as a dancer and your movements now as a dancer who is creating sounds, or who is aware of creating sounds with her body?
Yeah, I can see the difference. I mean, I did also the experience. We were recording the rehearsals on Friday, on Thursday, and I could see the difference. Also, I found that in the exact moment that I can relate to the space is changing the quality of the movement. For example, I observe that because I see where is the front, where is the back. I immediately you see a change in the body, and this was interesting also to me. The body becomes more fragile in the darkness also. There is a sense of fragility, and also in a way becomes more receptive. That when you see the space and you see with your eyes, you have more the control, let's say, in terms of recognition. You know where you are, where the floor, with the roof. So it's changing the way and the quality you move. Yeah.
I have a question. My headphone wasn't working, so I only got to could listen to the sounds produced in the space, but not the sounds you made, Maria, with your movement. So is the documentation on the homepage of the exploratorium? Because I'm very curious how it... Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there you can re-listen to it. Okay, maybe one last question. It's already 10 p.m. or so.
It's already 10.
Thank you a lot for the performance. I just wanted to briefly follow up on something that was mentioned already, because I thought about it during the performance. I was wondering if you could say a few more words about the decision of how we are seated. We are entering while the lights were on. We know the space, so that gives a lot of orientation already. We spoke about that briefly. But did you consider actually having people entering in darkness, not knowing the surroundings and the space, or was it clear for you from the beginning?
I think we decided like that, that people can see the space, can sit safely in the chair, because if they come and they don't see, they can bump into each other. So we play more safe in this occasion, but we wanted that everybody kind of have their own place. They feel safe. They close their eyes, but they have their own security, let's say. We set it up in this time in that way, yes.
Because I was wondering, especially in moments where I realized that when I had my eyes closed really for a long time, how my perception shifted somehow.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about it, if I would, for example, if there would be a reason to place people safely in the space and you're not really aware of it. It happens as well when you enter a very dark room and it takes your eyes very long to actually see, because you will see eventually something. So I experimented with this a bit, like to take off the blindfold which I was wearing, and I could see you dancing. So I was like, okay, I take it back on. So it was really like I was thinking about that during it, and I was just curious. Yeah, thank you for.
So thank you very much, Maria and Edgardo. I really enjoyed very much having you here at Exploratorium.
Thank you.
And thank you all for coming and for your interest and for participating in the discussion so actively. That was really enriching. I would like to point out to our next major event. Exploratorium will celebrate its 20th birthday on the weekend 23rd till 26th of May. And there will be a concert on the 23rd by Fred Frith, Gabi Flugmogul and Maria Portugal. And a few days later on Sunday, we are going to show the famous Step Across the Border movie. And there will also be Fred Frith to talk about the film together with one of the filmmakers, Nicolas Humbert. So if you are interested in that, please come round and reserve your tickets maybe in advance. Thanks again, Maria Colusi, Edgardo Rudnitzky. See you next time.